Everybody, it's me, Mr. D again, Mr. D's Classroom. I just want to talk to you guys a little bit about taxes again today. This is something I find very interesting. I was talking to a client the other day and we were talking about paying taxes and how they had read someplace where it was a voluntary system. You know, taxation is voluntary. You don't have to pay taxes. And it didn't sit well with me. So I kind of did some research and I found this video with this Harry Reid. He's a congressman, Democratic congressman from Nevada. This is an old video. And he talks about how paying taxes is you're in a voluntary system. You don't, you volunteer to pay these taxes. And the guy that's interviewing him says, well, if we don't pay the taxes, you take it out of our paycheck. If we don't pay the taxes, we'll end up in jail. And he goes, yeah, that's right. And the guy's trying to say, well, this doesn't make sense. How is it voluntary? And it's just, they just go back and forth. So I'm gonna play this video. You guys check it out. It's about a little over 4 minutes long. And just kind of try to wrap your head around this. You can see how crazy this stuff sounds. All right, go ahead and I'll go ahead and put it on and I'll talk to you guys right after it's done.
Or phraseology. I don't think we force people.
Taxation is not forceful?
Well, no.
It's voluntary?
In fact, quite to the contrary. Our system of government is a voluntary tax system.
Oh, if you don't want to pay your taxes, you don't have to?
Oh, of course you have to pay your taxes. But
well, the government will force you to pay or they'll fine you or imprison you. Will they not?
We have a voluntary system. The fact of the matter is that if when you pay your taxes, you'll see in many other countries it's not voluntary. For example, in many countries, the government makes sure that your employer takes out every penny. In many countries don't file income tax returns.
We have withholding here too, don't we?
Pardon me?
Withholding?
With some programs, yes. But I'm talking about in some countries, European countries as an example, there you don't file an income tax return. There is no need to because your employer takes all the money out. That's the difference between a voluntary and an involuntary system. You can't cheat and not pay your taxes.
Right.
But I don't accept your phraseology that you forcibly take money from somebody else and give it to that's the way it is on any program.
Can the taxpayer?
Highway program is the same. We take money, we forcibly take money in your phraseology.
But let me ask you this question.
Put people in the army.
Can the taxpayer decide not to pay his taxes if he wants?
He can not pay his taxes.
What will happen?
He's subject to civil and criminal penalties.
They'll put him in jail. They use force against him. He pays it. Everybody pays taxes under threat of jail or fine, under threat of force. In other words, you are forced to pay your taxes, whether you fill out your form voluntarily or whether it's withheld by your employer. You don't have a choice on whether you can pay taxes that are going to be used for welfare programs. You can't make that choice.
Well, but the reason our system is called a voluntary tax system, and I recognize, that ultimately you can't cheat in your taxes, but we have many provisions in the law they don't have in most countries. We have deductibility for home, interest on mortgage payment. They don't have that in most countries. We have deductibility for certain excessive expenses as it relates to health, doctors, hospitals. We have all kinds of tax, some people call them loopholes, but others would call them incentives for people to do business. And that's why you're not forced to pay certain tax. There are ways if you decide to buy a home.
You can decide not to pay taxes in the United States?
I really don't understand what you're trying to get at. What the point of the matter is?
Because you objected to my phraseology. You say that the government isn't forcefully taking money from some people to provide welfare benefits to others. And in fact, that's what it's doing, because all taxation is forceful. It's backed up by physical force. If you don't pay your taxes, the government will intervene with you forcefully. So you don't have a choice. It's not voluntary. You can't decide not to pay and not suffer a consequence. If you don't pay, you go to jail.
Well,
so you're forced to pay.
You don't go to jail. Some people go to jail. There are all kinds of civil penalties. If you don't pay your tax, you pay interest and you pay penalties. The fact of the matter is, our system is a...
Okay, now you just saw the video. Now, what do you think? So I can help explain what they're doing, why they say it's a voluntary system. And it's a secret. And I don't know why, it took me a while to figure this out. And I'm like, okay, I understand now. But why do they hide so much from the American people? And it's because they need a working class. They need people to keep them where they are. So check this out. This is what I figured out that they do. There's this thing called minimum contacts. And that means minimum contact could be, getting a driver's license, any type of license, a builder's license, whatever. You're contracting with the United States. So I was a school employee. And I was a teacher for years, and I had to I had to sign a contract to become a teacher. Well, I realized in that contract, it said I will follow all the rules and regulations of codes that coincide with this job. And one of those rules in there was that I agreed to allow them to take taxes out of my paycheck, or else I couldn't take the job. So I volunteered by taking that job and accepting the rules, accepting the contract that I made with my school district. I contracted with, the United States government, who contracts with the IRS. So I mean, you have all these contracts and subcontracts and so on. And you don't realize that when they say that you don't have to pay the taxes, you really do have to pay them, or you go to jail because you've contracted. And you've contracted, you've done subcontracts that actually brought you into their jurisdiction, because the school has a license, has an agreement with the government, and so on. Like all the vendors and all these different people have they have a contract with the school district, and the school district has a contract with the federal government to run these classes. So, and then within that federal government contract, there's a contract with them to collect taxes. And they do it from everybody, even when they're vendors. So that is how you are required to pay taxes, because you've contracted with them unknowingly. You accepted the job agrees with the IRS, they're going to take taxes out. So now you see this video and you say, well, I don't have to pay taxes. And he says, well, you don't have to pay them, but if you don't pay them, you'll go to jail. And like, this makes no sense. But what they're hiding from you is that you have a contract to pay them. Through your school district, with me through the school district, or through your job, you have contracted and agreed to pay the taxes. So you have a contract, and in that contract, there's consequences. And that's why they can come, take you to jail, put you in jail, charge you with failure to file, any type of thing, anything like that. It's just crazy. But that's what they do. And so just so you know that you have to pay these if you're a United States citizen and you have not addressed your citizenship and addressed the IRS and, remove that assumption or presumption that you are a 14th Amendment citizen, then you better pay your taxes. They're gonna come get you, man. You don't want to be no Fed, for as I'm telling you. Anyway, so, I just want you guys to check that out. But that is the reason why they say that taxes are voluntary, but if you don't pay them, you will go to jail, because you have a contract stating that you will pay those taxes it's a subcontract through, like with me, like I said, with my job. And I allowed them to take taxes out. And there's that thing called substance over form. And I allowed them to, by my actions, I agreed by allowing them to take taxes out, and I continued to work that job. So, through my performance, I gave them a contract to do that. But I've also addressed the situation. I have sent them a letter. They know who I am. They know that I am a creditor to this country or this corporation. I'm one of the people that invest money into it. So that's what, and I just kind of want to throw this video out, but check it out. It's just crazy, that they do these type of things and they hide so much from you. But that's where you got to open your third eye. You got to open your eyes and see, see what's going on with this world. And if you don't, you're going to be subject to so much depression and anxiety, because that's how they make their living, to keep you sick and working. They need a working class. Anyway, it's Mr. D, Mr. D's Classroom. I'll probably leave the link down below for that video. And remember, happiness is a choice. So choose to be happy. And you are whatever comes after I am. And you have a wonderful day. And I will talk to you soon.